of this clowning your opponent so much. Every now and then it's you need to do it to get in their head, but Floyd seems to just do it even when it's not necessary sometimes. When
hold me back. You fucking
It's no question that Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez will lock horns later this year. And while the super welterweight champion has sought the guidance of Floyd Mayweather ahead of the fight, he's not done with Floyd yet.
Where he goes all the way down. Beautifully done. Ooh, there's a nice counter, and now Floyd's clowning him again. You know, I'm not a fan of this.
He's been in camp training hard ahead of the fight with Floyd Mayweather, featuring regularly to help him on the necessary aspects of his boxing that'll ensure he gets a win on the night and inflicts a third loss on Canelo Alvarez. The training features some intense shadow boxing protective techniques, footwork, punching, and counter-punching styles, and his in-ring adaptability. Terence Crawford is an ambidextrous fighter and one of the best and most intelligent boxers of his time. Hence, Mayweather has very little work to do on the undefeated super welterweight.
Dominating. Alright, so Floyd is very defensive now. He's letting his opponent get off. He's just making him miss. And this is getting in his head enough. Doing it this way. He doesn't, I don't know if all the others.
Undoubtedly, Terence Crawford will hope to keep having Mayweather in his camp, as he hopes for the stars to align in his favor come fight night. It's not exactly a secret that the two champions have been in talks to fight for a few months now, following a knockout win over Errol Spence Jr. in the summer of 2023. Terence Crawford called out Canelo Alvarez at the time, but was the undisputed welterweight champion, who would need to climb 3 weight classes for the fight. At first, the super middleweight champion shut down the call-out last year. Canelo Alvarez decided not to fight Terence Crawford or David Benavidez, instead scoring wins over Jaime Munguia and Edgar Berlanga. In the meantime, that moved up in weight once again, earning World Boxing Association and World Boxing Organization interim gold with a decision win over Israel Madrimov in August. Over the last few months, rumors have been revived regarding the potential Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford fight. Saudi boxing promoter Turki Alalshik has met with both men in recent weeks, and it seems that the stars have aligned for the massive boxing match.
That's what everybody want to see. The only way they can be answered is if me and Canelo is in the ring and we fight.
We'll see. We want to talk about it. Sit down.
As first reported by the Ring magazine, the fight is officially on for September in Las Vegas. As of now, neither man has announced the bout. The report added that while Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford has been finalized, a lot is still unknown about the fight. While the fight will happen in Las Vegas, the date and site for the event remain unknown. However, Turki Alalshik Riyadh season will promote the fight, which will likely air on pay-per-view. A deal has allegedly been agreed to for Crawford to face Canelo on September 13th at the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, and Benavidez has chimed in with his thoughts on the fight.
I respect Crawford. He's a great fighter, and I always say that no disrespect him, but
Many observers believe Alvarez will simply be too big for Bud, who will have to jump up to full weight divisions to take on the unified super middleweight champion. And although the Nebraska man, who started his career as a lightweight, will be at a significant size disadvantage, Benavidez is not ruling him out. Speaking to Ariel Helwani, the Mexican monster explained that the time Crawford has had to build his frame as well as his high IQ could see him win against 4-weight world champion Canelo. It's a good fight. I think it's a good fight for both of them, but I think it's more important for Crawford than for anybody.
Sometimes it's a little crazy that people talking about a small fighter like Charlo. He's big.
If anyone can beat Canelo, I think Crawford could. I do think the size could play a huge difference, but it's a good fight. I don't want to seem like a hater. I'm happy for Crawford that he's able to get a big fight like that. I give him a 710 chance of winning. Crawford is GOAT. He's known that he's going to fight Canelo for a long time, so I'm sure he's been working on the weight. When you're a person who has a high IQ like Crawford, you have a high chance of making the other unhappy and hurting him. I wouldn't be shocked if he wins.
Which he is big, and everybody's talking about if I'm gonna face Crawford, fighter 147, who is smaller than Charlo. So no makes sense when.
And though many feel Canelo is not keen on a showdown with Benavidez, the LA native thinks it will materialize before all is said and done. I think it will happen if I keep doing what I'm doing. I've shown I'm a big enough name. I'm making my case, and I still have a lot of room to go. It'll make for a bigger fight. Benavidez himself is, of course, fresh off a big win, greatly outscoring Cuban danger man David Morrell in an entertaining light heavyweight dust-up this past weekend. Despite chasing the Canelo fight for years, the 27-year-old has said he now has his eyes set on becoming undisputed king at 175 pounds and, as such, will be a keener observer than most on the February 22nd rematch between Artur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol. Also, boxing scene learned that for fight shows are reserved on the Strip for March 22nd, March 29th, April 5th, and May 3rd. The last of which is a great unknown for now.
I respect Crawford. He's a great fighter, and I always say that. No disrespect him, but
For Canelo, that May 3rd day is clearly the one to keep an eye on. Canelo has fought on the weekend of Cinco de Mayo every year since 2019, excluding the COVID year in 2020. 3 of those 5 fights came at the T-Mobile Arena, so we can definitely connect the dots. It's not a sure thing, though, given how important a fight against Crawford is. Alvarez could choose to take more time off and keep his body fresh, but he doesn't like to take too much rest time if his past history is anything to go by. As for who he would fight, William Skull looks to be the main option. The IBF super middleweight champion has been in talks with Canelo's team since the beginning of the year.
Sometimes it's a little crazy that people talking about a small fighter like Charlo. He's big, which he is big.
Canelo, though, is now 34 years old, and while he has shown no signs of slowing down, he is probably nearing the end of his career. In a recent chat with Ring magazine, Canelo shared when he might consider hanging up the gloves. He said, "I don't know yet. I'm getting closer to retirement, obviously, but I'm feeling great. I feel better than ever, but maybe at 38, yeah, I think 38 would be the right time to start thinking about that." He further added, "I have had tough fights and ones I didn't need. In those times, I take risks my whole career. I really love the tasks and what I do, and I try to show everybody how good I am. I love to go up and down and wait. I never look at my record and say, I did this. My trainer always talks about it, and he always shows me the things I've done. All the world champions, and it's very amazing."
Named you and Terence Crawford as one of the top 5 fights that he wants to see this year. Is that a fight that you're considering now?
We'll see. We'll see. Everything is possible. We'll see. We want to talk about it. Sit down.
Canelo Alvarez last beat Edgar Berlanga back in September 2020 for reports suggest his rumored bout against Terence Crawford is close to becoming a reality in 2025. For now, the future of this potential fight remains quite certain. Both fighters have existing commitments, and the possibility of an agreement will hinge on several factors, including contract negotiations and strategic decisions from both teams. There aren't many fighters that have shared the ring with both Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. The only man to do so inside a professional ring was Amir Khan, suffering stoppage defeats to the pair, and he's already given his thoughts on how a potential Crawford versus Canelo matchup would go.
What do I think of that fight?
Yeah.
I think that, everybody knows that Crawford got the skills. I do think that Canelo's a little big. He's a little big for Crawford, and it'll be a tall task for him.
There are a few more that have sparred the two men, though, and one of them has now given his take on how he thinks the fantasy clash could play. That man is middleweight contender Caron Davis, who even took on fellow Canelo foe David Benavidez back in November 2021, having sparred both Bud and Canelo. Davis told Mill City Boxing that he thinks it would be extremely tough for Crawford and would back Alvarez to get the win. Canelo is a big guy. It's going to be a lot. He can take a punch, so you're not going to hurt Canelo. I don't think Crawford can hurt him with one punch. Maybe he can cut an eye or something, or bother him to the body.
It'll be a lot you have to. It'll be a lot to get that victory based on size alone. Not that size wouldn't fight, but you got a guy that got size and skills. It'll be hard. I mean,
he has to get some flesh on gloves and go to the body. It's going to be a tall job. Canelo can really fight. He has moves and tricks. It's not easy in boxing. Nothing is impossible, but if I had to bet, I'd put money on Canelo. I'm not taking anything away from Crawford, but Canelo is great. Can Canelo stop him? He's a bigger guy. I think one punch can do it. Oscar de la Hoya, despite his difficult relationship with Canelo Alvarez, has shared his thoughts on a possible showdown between the Mexican superstar and Terence Crawford.
Oscar, Terence Crawford says he wants to fight Canelo. he's changed his tune. He said he's willing to move up 3 weight divisions. To me, that's kind of crazy, but that just shows you, like, man, the dog that's in Terence Crawford. If Canelo is victorious against Charlo.
De La Hoya insists that his predictions regarding any possible fight involving Canelo are unbiased. Oscar De La Hoya has a bold view on the potential outcome of this hypothetical matchup. The former world champion thinks that Canelo, with his greater size and power, would have a clear advantage over Crawford at 154. Crawford didn't really look too scary up in the ring against a beast. So imagine Canelo being the bigger guy being a beast. It's almost like a no contest. I mean, come on. And has a smaller good guy ever beaten a bigger good guy? It's never happened in the history of the sport. It's rare. De La Hoya told Fight Hub TV Crawford, known for his technical ability and punching power, would face a major physical challenge in taking on Canelo at his natural weight.
Terence Crawford will beat Canelo anytime. Anytime. Because, and this is
While some experts think Terence Crawford possesses the skills to compete with Canelo, the disparity in size and power could prove decisive. Demetrius Andrade, a past super middleweight world champion, weighed in on this highly anticipated matchup.
Just too much overall. Like, is that kind of the same thing with the Crawford and Canelo because of the weight classes, the weight between them?
Yeah, I believe so.
I love Crawford. He's a good friend. We reach out to each other. We've been traveling the world through the volunteer program. He saw me beat people up. I saw him beat people up. I think the stories could go on. But when it comes to weight strength, that stuff's real, Andrade said during an interview with Fight Hub TV. Andrade, who himself was once linked to a fight with Canelo, recognized Terence Crawford's immense talent and skill. However, he believes Canelo holds a significant advantage due to his size and experience at higher weight classes. Canelo is a big bad Wolf, and he can run the whole night. I think Crawford has the skills, but when it comes to Saul getting shots and stopping his power shots, Canelo knows how to move too. He has speed, not like a robot. I mean, it's going to be tough, Andrade explained.
I love Crawford. He's a good friend. You know, we reach out to each other. We've been travel the world through the amateur program. He see me beat people up. I see him beat people up. He see me get beat up. I got beat up. We both.
I don't think Crawford can beat Canelo, but I still think he can give him a good fight, and I'll be sitting there pulling for Canelo all day. Andrade added the only man to get inside a professional ring with both fighters was Amir Khan, suffering stoppage defeats to the pair, and he's already given his thoughts on how a possible Crawford versus Canelo matchup would go.
What do I think of that fight?
Yeah.
I think that, everybody knows that Crawford got the skills. I do think that Canelo's a little big. He's a little big for Crawford, and it'll be a tall task for him.
There are a few more that have sparred the two men, though, and one of them has now given his take on how he thinks the fantasy clash could play. That man is middleweight contender Coney Davis, who even took on fellow Canelo foe David Benavidez back in November 2021, having sparred both But and Canelo. Davis told Mill City Boxing that he thinks it would be extremely tough for Crawford and would back Alvarez to get the win. Canelo is a big guy. It's going to be a lot. He can take a punch, so you're not going to hurt Canelo. I don't think Crawford can hurt him with one punch. Maybe he can cut an eye or something or bother him to the body.
It'll be a lot you have to. It'll be a lot to get that victory based on size alone. Not that size wins fights, but you got a guy that got size and skills. It'll be hard. I mean,
he has to get some flesh on gloves and go to the body. It's going to be a tall job. Canelo can really fight. He has moves and tricks. It's not easy in boxing. Nothing is impossible, but if I had to bet, I'd put money on Canelo. I'm not taking anything away from Crawford, but Canelo is great. Can Canelo stop him? He's a bigger guy. I think one punch can do it. The Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez debate is still going on. The former undisputed welterweight champion is coming off a unanimous decision win over Israel Madrimov at 154 pounds, earning the World Boxing Association and Interim World Boxing Organization Super Welterweight belt for Canelo Alvarez. The boxing match is yet another huge one. The Mexican superstar is currently expected to take a stay-busy fight in May, but his opponent is currently unknown.
Really well and figure out something. He's a good fighter. He's a very good fighter. He's a smart fighter, and I take everything seriously.
International Boxing Federation super middleweight champion William Skull is considered the most likely choice Having won the gold, Alvarez was stripped of last year for Terence Crawford. The bout offers the chance to become a winner in a staggering 5th weight class. It is currently unknown if Bud will take a tune-up bout before facing Canelo Alvarez. However, the 37-year-old is famously not the most active boxer, usually taking one fight a year. The fight promises to be a mouth-watering show and a real 50-50. It's barnstormer with a host of factors at play, including size, that make the fight so intriguing. It is also legacy-defining for both fighters, with Alvarez protecting his belts and pride at the weight, determined not to be beaten by a fellow great.
You good? Thank you. All right, you gotta give us something on Canelo, but something. September? Done deal? Anything.
Meanwhile, Bud will see the chance as life-changing and could become a 5'8" world champion, as well as preserve his unbeaten record. It could also be a retirement bout for Crawford, who is now in the twilight years of his career, but still a formidable operator, and he thinks he has the keys to unlock Alvarez's guard and reign supreme on the history-writing fight night. "Man, we're going to see come fight time what my edge is," he told Boxing Scene. "I'm the type of guy who likes to feel my foes out and adjust to what they're doing. I think that's my best attribute, to be able to figure out every opponent I faced thus far. I'm looking to do the same come fight time when the Canelo fight happens. People say you're too small, or you're outmatched, or you don't belong in the ring with these types of fighters. That's when great fighters perform their best. I'm going to feel great at 168 pounds. I don't need to worry about the weight. I know I'm going to feel great. I've got a lot of things to prepare for. That's part of fighting. Milestones you've got to hit." The two blockbuster names have the potential to forge one of the most classic rivalries in the modern age, given their supreme talent and achievements already in the sport. Crawford is a 4-weight world champion and plans to step up and accept a huge challenge of dethroning 168 PBS champion Alvarez. The fight looked like a tough ask to make, but the intervention of Saudi boxing chief Turki Alalshik has changed the trajectory of talks. Reports have now emerged via Ring magazine that the pair have now fully agreed to a deal to meet in Las Vegas in September.
Hello, Crawford. Who you got if that happens?
I can't go against Crawford. I fuck with Crawford. I like him in the ring, out the ring. I think that he's the best right now. I'm rocking with Crawford.
The showdown, of course, has the potential to be a record revenue-generating clash, as well as arguably the biggest commercial success in boxing of 2025, and the chances of the showdown reaching new ground in terms of numbers have been significantly boosted. That is because reports have now suggested the fight will land at the Allegiant Stadium in Sin City. The stadium opened in 2020 and is being used as a multi-purpose venue capable of housing 65,000 spectators, which could even rise up to 71,500. At its peak, it cost a seismic $2 billion to construct the new iconic venue, which plays home to an NFL franchise, Las Vegas Raiders. A weekly basis, should the titanic tussle be held at the extravagant venue, records will likely tumble. It will first of all make history, given Alvarez versus Crawford would be the first boxing event to be held on the new hallowed turf.
Good friend, my brother, Terence Crawford, wants to fight Canelo.
Yeah.
Just from your expert opinion, knowing how Canelo fights, what he's like in the ring. I know you haven't been in the ring with Terence, but what do you think of that fight?
I truly believe, that anything can happen.
But it could also enter the record books for alternative reasons, with a 71,000 capacity in Las Vegas sure to push gate revenue numbers. In the US, Mayweather and Pacquiao's famous 2015 battle produced a mammoth $72.2 million at the famous MGM Grand, and the pair will hope to at least enter the rankings behind it. It will also depend on the overall amount of tickets able to be on sale, but it could go close to the US indoor attendance record of 73,000 set by Alvarez for his clash with Billy Joe Saunders in the AT&T Stadium in Texas. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay linked with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality content like this. Until next time, peace out.